I am absolutely jumping out of my skin, excited to share my Arbonne story with you guys. I was born in Toronto to a very middle-class family. My father actually immigrated to Canada from Scotland. He came over with the British Army in his early 20s. He met my mom and they got married. The day they got married, my parents had $13 between them, and my dad was wearing a rented suit, which is really, like, I can't imagine my dad renting a suit because he's Scottish. I grew up in a household where he nailed the thermostat at 68. My parents had absolutely nothing but each other. My dad worked at McDonnell Douglas Corporations his whole life. He worked overtime whenever he could so that my parents could buy their home. What my dad taught me was anything is possible if you are willing to work hard enough for it. My mother worked in a grocery store her whole life, Dominion, and she worked in the meat wrapping department as a meat wrapper, and she was awesome at her job. Every time Dominion would open a new store, they'd call my mom to come in and make sure that things were done right. My mother was a very proud woman, and what she taught me was that it doesn't really matter what you do in life. All that matters is you are the best you can possibly be at it. I got my very first job at 15 years of age working at Dominion. And I worked there until I was 17, and that's when I got my first professional acting job. And I've been doing that ever since. I am an actress and a singer, and I've been that my whole life. The only thing I've ever done other than singing and acting was waitressing, because that's what all actors do. But thank goodness I only had to do that in the early stages of my career. So for 35 years, I worked in Toronto and Los Angeles and New York. I worked really hard to build a career and to build a name for myself, and I did. I starred on Days of Our Lives, right? I had a regular role on the television series Due South. I played a character named, wait for it, Royal Canadian Mounted Police Chief Margaret Thatcher. I also had my own talk show in Canada called The Camilla Scott Show. And in fact, Due South and The Camilla Scott Show ran for 3 years as the #1 daytime show in the country and the #1 nighttime show in the country at the same time. I also had a successful voiceover career. Do you guys get the Berenstain Bears here, the cartoon series? I'm Mama Bear. So Google that and watch it with your kids. It's an awesome show. I worked hard every day. My goal every single day was to do at least one thing that would move my career forward. I was from the David Mamet School of Thought, which says, if you want to be a successful actor, you may not have a plan B. That being an actor is so difficult. If you have a plan B, you will take it. So for 35 years, I spent a career purposely not giving myself a plan B, never allowing myself to even consider another option for income. In the fall of 2008, I was starring in a musical in Toronto called We Will Rock You. Right? It was the 6th multi-million-dollar musical that I had starred in. The one before We Will Rock You was Mamma Mia. And in between the period in between those two shows, 2 things happened in my life. First, my son Jack was born. He was healthy and beautiful and incredible, and I got pregnant, you guys, naturally at 44 years of age and gave birth to him. He, after years of trying, he is literally a miracle. And any second now, there's going to be, there. Come on, right? Delicious? Do you not just want to eat them? Oh my God. Okay, so the other thing that happened to me in between those 2 shows was not so amazing. The entertainment industry in Toronto collapsed. So when the producers of We Will Rock You offered me the lead, it was at a 60% pay cut from what the exact same producers had paid me for Mamma Mia. And I took the job because I had to. Being an actor, even one who works consistently, is a life of feast or famine. I was either like working all the time with making lots of money and no time to spend it, or I had all the time in the world and terrified to spend a single penny because I didn't know when the next job was going to come. And when you build a life based on a certain income and 60% of that income disappears overnight, you still have the life to support. I was and had always been the primary income earner in our household. We needed the money to survive. So I happily took a job at a 60% pay cut. I left my home 6 days a week at noon and got home at midnight. I was leaving that behind me every single day. I left him at home with his dad, and I told myself that we were lucky. I was lucky to have a job. And Jack was lucky to be at home with one parent. Well, my husband was lucky. But Jack wasn't lucky, and I wasn't lucky. I never saw my son. I missed him horribly. I'd leave the house every single day with him on one side of the door screaming and crying, me on the other side of the door crying. And what was worse, you guys, was when he actually waved goodbye to me with a big smile on his face, like that was the way it was. Right? I was missing out on the most important thing that I had ever done and will ever do in my life, to go and sing Queen music practically for nothing. So that was my life in 2008. October 2008, completely stressed financially, absolutely brokenhearted, and terrified that at 47 years of age, that was what my life had come to. And it was probably not going to get better and very likely only going to get worse. It was then that I got an email from a friend of mine, now Executive National Vice President Amy Skye. And it said, "Hi, Camilla. I hope you're well. I want to talk to you about a great business opportunity with a health and wellness company called Arbonne. They're new in Canada." Well, I was really busy at the time, so I ignored the email. And my husband saw Amy in the neighborhood later, like about a week later, and she said, "Oh, I sent Camilla an email and she hasn't gotten back to me." And so my husband comes home and he's all mad. Like, "Why? Don't be so rude. That's so embarrassing. Email her back." So I did. I emailed Amy back and we made a coffee date. And then I started thinking about this. Why would Amy want to talk to me, an actress, about a business opportunity with a health and wellness company that's new in Canada? They're looking for a spokesperson. And they've hired Amy and she picked me. I was so excited to meet her. Spokesperson contracts are huge. Like, it was awesome. I had the money, the contract negotiated, the money spent. I'd already written my letter of resignation to We Will Rock You. Like, I was, so excited. I showed up at Starbucks, and Amy was kind of weird. She was like a little bit nervous and looked kind of uncomfortable, and I was thinking, well, shouldn't I be nervous? So we sat down, and I waited for her to offer my big fat contract, and she starts into this Arbonne thing about these vegan products with no mineral oil, great business opportunity in a booming industry. I was mortified. I was so embarrassed for her. All I could think was, holy crap, her life's worse than mine. I was gobsmacked. In the moment, all I could think was, I haven't sunk that low, and thank God for We Will Rock You. I thanked Amy, and I said no. I said, good luck. But then Amy was a good consultant, and she said, that's okay, but would you try my product anyway, please? And she hands me this gold bag. Well, I had to say yes, even though I didn't want to try it. I had really, really dry, sensitive skin, and I didn't want to try some crazy product that was probably going to make my face explode. And to be perfectly honest, I couldn't afford it anyway. It didn't matter. I wasn't buying it. Then she hands me a mini salt scrub and a body lotion and a body serum, gifts for meeting her. Now I'm like, oh my God, I have to buy something from her. She gave me gifts, for crying out loud. So off I went with my gold bag and my armful of gifts and my overinflated ego. I went home and I tried the products for 3 days, just like she asked me to. And lo and behold, my dry, sensitive skin was gorgeous and glowing and hydrated, and I couldn't believe it. So now I'm madder. Because now I really want to buy it, and I can't afford it. So I bought it anyway, because I'm a girl, and that's what we do, right? But I was still not interested in the business. It was a couple of days later that my husband looks over at me and he's like, you know, your skin really does look amazing. Why aren't you talking to Amy about the business opportunity? You know, she's the smartest person we know. Everything she touches turns to gold. She can spot an opportunity from a mile away. And it was like lightning struck me. I thought, oh my gosh, he's right. She is the smartest business person we know. And if she's doing this Arbonne thing, then so should I. And that was it. I called her up, I said, I'm in. I had no idea what I was doing. I quickly found out neither did she. She was new. We were the blind leading the blind. There was not another single person on the planet that I knew who had done, heard of, or used, or any Arbonne, nothing. I wasn't one of those people, you guys, who heard the compensation plan and understood the enormity of this opportunity right out of the gate. I really had no idea. I had never heard of network marketing. I had no idea what it was or what was possible. I knew absolutely nothing about skincare or makeup. I wash my face because it's dirty, and that's what you do. And to this day, I don't wear makeup unless I have to. I didn't know how to use a computer. If my husband left the house in the morning and the computer was off, I was screwed. I had to wait until he got home to turn it on for me. All I knew was that I needed to make some money and be home with my son. And the idea of having a little bit of financial stability of any kind, even the smallest little tiny amount, was brilliant. And it wasn't brain surgery. I mean, it's skincare. Skincare I actually kind of liked. So everyone uses it. Why wouldn't they buy it from me? And everybody I knew was in the entertainment industry, which was a complete disaster, which meant everybody that I knew needed money, so of course they were going to do the business with me. Yeah. So now don't forget, I worked 6 days a week from noon until midnight for the first 7 months of my business. But I was determined. I fit Arbonne into every second of my life that I possibly could. I became the Avon lady from hell. I had every single member of the We Will Rock You company, cast, crew, ushers, musicians, everyone buying Arbonne from me. I met with every single person I had ever known in my life every morning for coffee so I could give them the gold bag. And I vomited Arbonne all over them. I sold so many RE9 sets, it was insane. To this day, there are people from the We Will Rock You company that think aliens abducted me and brainwashed me. But people loved the product. People bought the product. I became the RE9 queen because I sold so much product. But no one was interested in the business. I couldn't understand it. No one. I thought Arbonne was going to be a cinch. Once I got in, it was incomprehensible to me that people didn't get it. But they didn't. I went through my entire warm market in the first couple of months of my business, and no one got it. No one. And then one day, I convinced my dresser at We Will Rock You to join. So I immediately started to do in her market what I had done in mine. And then one other girl, this poor thing, oh my God, from We Will Rock You, I convinced her. And so then I started to do in her market exactly what I was doing in mine. So I was doing the business of 3 consultants. I was hosting their events and doing their one-on-ones and mine. I was completely exhausted. Arbonne, 24/7. I couldn't understand, how does anyone get to the top of this company? I was killing myself selling product and running my business and running those other 2 consultants' businesses, but I couldn't give up. I knew that other people had done it, so I knew it was possible, so that I knew that I could do it. I listened to Learn and Burns. Backstage in my dressing room, I said that stupid presentation. I don't mean stupid, really, but oh my gosh, so many times out loud to myself. People thought I was crazy walking down the street. I plugged myself in wherever I could. And then in May of 2009, 7 months into my business, I got an invite to a car party, and it was close to my neighborhood. And I was like, how? How does someone get a car? She must be Superwoman. And so I emailed her. It was Executive National Vice President Suzanne Van Perry's. I said, you don't know me, but I need you. I need you to help me. I wanted her to tell me the secret. I wanted her to give me the magic potion. I expected this. And if any of you know Suzanne, she's just like this. Oh, well, why don't you just tell me what you're doing now? I was like, seriously? You're getting a car? I'm getting a car. Well, Suzanne taught me the magic potion. I mean, you can if you want to call it a magic potion, you can, but basically, she taught me how to leverage my time. I needed to teach people how to do Arbonne without me. I had to teach them, and then they had to do it. That way, I could continue to find new people, set them up the same way, teach them how to do it, and move on. I needed to get organized. I needed to show people that this was a multi-million-dollar business opportunity in a billion-dollar industry, and I was going to the top of this company, and I wanted to take them with me. Suzanne taught me the importance of having a system, something that's simple, that people can duplicate. She explained why events like this are not negotiable. Good for you for being here. Give yourselves a big hand. I followed Suzanne's advice and then some. I started to treat my business like a business. I created a system that worked for me, that was simple, and that I could teach others and they could duplicate. And I taught people how to do it without me. I attended my first conference because Suzanne told me to, even though I couldn't afford it. Like, I had to buy an airline ticket. I had to stay in a hotel. My upline wasn't there. I went by myself. Who's here by themselves today? Is anybody by themselves? If you are, give yourself a huge pat on the back for that. I sat in the back by myself, and I saw all these ordinary people recognized for their extraordinary achievements. And I thought, I want that. I want that. I swore to myself I would never attend another conference and not walk across that stage. I went home and I went to work. I worked with my sideline sister, National Vice President Jillian Weinrobe, and we started hosting business meetings every Monday night, and no one came. We had them anyway. We just kept doing it, and all of a sudden, boom, one day, 2 people showed up. We were so excited. And then 4, and then 8, and then 16, and then 32, and boom. The next conference I attended, I was an ACE winner and number 4 in Parade of Champions. And I remember my upline going crazy. They were so excited for me. And all I could think was, number 4? Who strives to be number 4? Number 4 sucks. I want to be number 1. And I went home and I worked harder. When I started Arbonne, I was introduced to it with the one-on-one system. And if Amy had told me that I was going to do parties, I probably wouldn't have joined. But once I got in, I realized that it was really just about growing my business. I had goals every month, and I needed to be open-minded because I needed to be willing to do whatever it took to hit the goal. It wasn't about the outreach method. It was about hitting the goal. And I needed to be willing to do whatever it took. We all have different little nuances to our businesses, right, you guys? But the bottom line is there's 2 ways to do Arbonne. One-on-ones and parties. You can call them group presentations, lunch and learns, shows, launches, whatever you want to call them. But the bottom line is if you want to build a healthy, sustainable, strong, huge business, that's going to make you $1 million or more every year, you need to fill it with clients and preferred clients and consultants that are all using your product. You need to have as many households as humanly possible buying their personal care products from you. And to do that, you need to have an open mind to both outreach methods. You can keep your main thing, but it should only ever be about hitting your goal and doing whatever it takes. That's how you will become successful. The willingness to do whatever it takes to reach your goals. That's your $1 million business. When I started, it was with those one-on-ones, and I went through my warm market so fast. And I started asking people for referrals. Honestly, it was like I was asking them to give me their child. Nobody would. But I had to find other people. How? Where? I realized very quickly that in order for me to get into other people's networks, the easiest way to make that happen was going to be parties. And I never used the word party. I was terrified people would run. But I live in Toronto. It's a huge metropolitan city. You can toss a rock and hit a great store that sells skincare from anywhere in the world. People did not want to have skincare parties. At least that's what I told myself. One day I said that to Suzanne Van Perry's, and she's like, well, you just haven't asked enough people yet. Except she said it like this, well, I guess you just haven't asked enough people yet. She said, most people don't want to host a party for you, but some people will. So you just have to keep asking until you find them. And then I heard some language that I really liked on a Learn and Burn. And it went like this. Hi, it's Camilla. How are you? You know I'm doing Arbonne, right? I'm just trying to keep a roof over our heads and have a little financial security. Listen. That's my why in one sentence. Would you mind doing a personal favor for me? Would you have a couple friends over and let me come and pamper them for you? And that was it. I just kept calling people and repeating the same thing over and over and over. Most people said no. Most people couldn't or didn't want to, but I just kept calling. And then, lo and behold, a few people said yes. And I was off. I would book any kind of party, any day of the week, any time of the day. I always try to book a new party from the one I'm at so that I can get access to as many people's networks as possible. It was at a lunch and learn that led to another lunch and learn, that led to another lunch and learn, and by the fourth one, that's where I met National Vice President Lital Mintz-Sneer. I now understood the importance of having an open mind. I realized it isn't about which outreach method you use. It was just about setting specific goals and being willing to do whatever it takes to hit them. So now I was willing to do anything. You name the kind of party, I did it. I actually did parties with foot soaks. I remember distinctly kneeling at someone's feet and looking for the camera because I thought I was being punked. Honestly, I hate feet. I hate parties. I'm not a party person. I like staying home. Before every single event, I would sit in my car. Remember to have fun. Remember to have fun. Because if I didn't remind myself, I'd forget. And if I didn't have fun, neither would my guests. My goal was always to have every single person leave the event thinking, wow, she's so happy. She loves her job. And the neat thing about pretending to do that, guys, pretending to enjoy it and pretending to have fun and pretending to be happy is, after a while, you're not pretending anymore. I started to really enjoy it. I loaded up my calendar until I was double and triple booked, and I taught my team that if they wanted success and they wanted it faster than the average, they were going to have to do the same thing. I remember one of Lital's events. She was double booked, and she asked me to fill in for her, and I said, okay, of course. It was on a Sunday morning at 8 a.m., about an hour's drive outside of Toronto. Yes, I was willing to do anything. I was a regional vice president by then, so I drove my beautiful white Mercedes-Benz to the address that she gave me. And when I got there, it was a church. And I was like, that's odd. That's okay. And then I saw all these tables out in the parking lot, covered with people's cleaned out garages. And I thought, okay. I drove an hour. I'm here. I'm doing this for Lital. I set up my $250 standing Arbonne banner. I put a white tablecloth over the disgusting table they gave me. I set up all my products with the little stands and the oranges and the strawberries, made it all look gorgeous. I was the only person there not wearing sweatpants. 9 out of 10 people had a cigarette hanging out of their mouth. The first person who came up to the table was a gentleman with his belly hanging over the top of his sweatpants, and he said, "How much is that?" He was pointing at the night cream. I said, "It's $100. And he just kind of stood there looking at me like he didn't quite hear me. And then he walked away. And I sat there by myself for 2 hours. And then I walked over to the organizer and I thanked her. And I told her that this was an amazing product with an amazing business opportunity and that Lital and I would love to talk to her about it someday. Then I packed everything back into my white Mercedes-Benz and I went home. And I wasn't angry. I didn't feel like I'd wasted my time. I now had an awesome story to tell. Right? I never for a moment regretted it. I did it for Lital. Every time you have a really nasty, gross experience in your Arbonne business, write it down. Every gory detail. Because those disgusting horror stories are awesome. And when you're an executive national vice president, you're going to stand on stage and tell people, and they're going to be so happy to hear that it's not just them. Those stories help people relate to you. They're a necessary part of this journey and your journey to becoming a great leader. And it's what the great leaders in Arbonne do. We do whatever it takes. We throw the spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. And sometimes nothing. But if you throw enough spaghetti, something's gonna stick. Decide if you are a great leader in Arbonne. Whether you're an executive national vice president or a brand new consultant here today, decide. There will always be challenges. It's how you handle the challenges that counts. I remember in the months when I was going region, Arbonne ran out of our anti-aging line completely. For weeks. I think it was 12 weeks. Yeah. So we're signing people up, and we're talking about the importance of, proper business order and having the products to share and, setting you up for success. And no product would show up. Nothing. Nothing to use for personal. Nothing to share with people. Nothing. But I didn't stop. It didn't stop me from signing people up. I just kept spinning it in a positive way. Whoa! Isn't this awesome? We are growing so fast they can't keep up with us. And then Sue Cassidy came to Toronto to do a training. I had a complete, full-on meltdown, tears and everything. And Sue says, "Camilla, sit down. Let me just show you what's happening here. You're walking through a park. It is the most glorious, gorgeous day you have ever seen. The sky is the most amazing shade of blue, and there are little white fluffy clouds everywhere. And the grass is the most amazing shade of emerald green, and there are beautiful wildflowers in every color of the rainbow growing all around you. There's a little trickling brook, and the fishies are jumping, and there's a beautiful little puppy over there frolicking in the grass, and he's playing with the butterflies, and you're standing in the middle of all of it, like this, looking at a turd through a straw." Stand up and look around you and see the big picture. There will always be turds. But they will not stop you from building a multi-million-dollar business. Your business Your business is in one palm. The turds are in the other. Whichever one you focus on will grow. Focus on your business. I handle the challenges that come my way by keeping my eye on the prize. Sometimes I'm even successful at handling them. And when I'm not, I make sure I learn from them. I learn from my mistakes so that the next time I can handle them better. Learning to handle what comes your way by keeping your eye on the prize is huge. You will fall down. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's how you get back up that matters. Be a student of your business for the rest of your life. You will always be learning. Be learning by doing. Know that making mistakes is part of the equation. The bigger the business, the bigger the mistakes, the better the opportunity to learn. One of the most important things that I coach my team on is bonusing at every level. As a district manager, your goal should be to bonus always. Always, 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 always. Did I say always? Always. 5,000 QV, 5 new people every month. Absolute minimum. And if you haven't been doing that up until now, that's okay, start today. 5 PCs a month, minimum. That goes for every single one of you, but it goes also for every single one on your team. And if you're not doing it, they won't either. So it starts with you. You must practice what you preach, correct? And if you were to look at my 2-year journey from a consultant to a national vice president, you would see that I definitely practice what I preach. I want to show you guys what my business looked like for the 24 months that it took me to go from a brand new consultant to a national vice president. So I started the business. I launched November 10, 2008. 1 month I went district manager with 6,489 QV. 18 people came into my business that month. All of them customers. My first district manager paycheck was $243.74. We didn't have the PC program then. I was so proud of that paycheck. It was awesome. Okay, going from district to area took me 4 months. You see in December the red? I didn't bonus in that month. Do you know why? I didn't know there was a bonus. I was a brand new district manager. Nobody was telling me anything, but I found out. So the next month I did 10,000. I went to area qualification, 14 new people. In March, I finished, and there were 15 new customers brought into my business that month. I had sponsored so far 60 people into my business. All but 2 were customers. My first paycheck, $2,015. Right? I was so excited. Goodbye, we will rock you. Okay, not quite yet. Area manager to region took me 8 months, from April until December. The dark blue number is my central district. So that's the one that we really want to focus on because that's where the magic happened for me. I never stopped working my business. I have always been the hardest working consultant on my team. You need to do the same. You must be the hardest working consultant. In August, we did 15,747 in my central district, 35 people sponsored. Now, not all of them are customers, but what I'm doing is every time I bring a new business builder into my business, they're signing up as many customers as humanly possible because that's what I'm coaching them to do. We went to CNTC in September, so that's our global training conference. So the one I had gone to before, I told you, I was all by myself, sitting in the back. The second conference I went to, I took 35 people. So I just want to go back, see what we did in August, 18,000. In September, we did 23,000. In October, after we came back from the conference, everybody was so excited, we went into region qualification. We finished in December with, now you can see my team is duplicating. So we've got 37,000 and 43 people brought into the business that month. Only 16 now are mine because the people that I'm bringing into the business are doing what I'm doing. They're sponsoring. My first region paycheck was $5,086. From region to nation took me 11 months. So January, February, I didn't get my district bonus. It was the only time that month, but I was so ashamed of myself. In April, we were up to 51,000. May, June, July, August. So look at August, you guys. 55,000 in my central region. 9,800 in my central district. My central district is working. I am working. 85 people sponsored into my business that month. But look what happens in, so remember the number, 55,000 August, September, 100,000, almost doubled. So in September, what happened was we went to the Global Training Conference. And again, and this time when everybody came home and were emailing me their goals, they added up to 101. And there was only 3 days left in the month, so I sent everybody an email. We're going Nation Qual. Do whatever you can. Let's see what happens. And we did exactly what they said they were going to do, 101. 15,000 in my central district that month, 21 new people sponsored into the business. In October, Nation Qualification, 145,000. 186 people sponsored into my success line that month, 27 of them in my central district. Don't forget, guys, I've been in Arbonne for 2 years at this point. We finished Nation in November with 185,000, 160 new people sponsored into my business. I still did my district bonus, and my first paycheck was $16,705. On the first anniversary of me being a national vice president, so this was November, the next November, my paycheck was $41,000. I know. My second year anniversary of a national vice president, $56,000. My goal this November is $70,000. Right? You guys, this is my $1 million business. It's filled with customers and business building consultants whose businesses are filled with customers. That is what's possible with this opportunity if you are willing to do whatever it takes. If you set people up for success with the proper tools and the proper training, if you work your business consistently, that is what is possible. Arbonne isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a job. It's a job. You have to go to work every day, just like any other job. But unlike any other job, the rewards are endless. The payoff is extraordinary. Guys, I was someone who said no. I was someone who fell in love with the product after not even wanting to try it. I was someone who became a customer first, and through the results I saw with the product, I was able to open up my mind to the idea of the business. I was someone who had never heard of network marketing and had no idea what it was or how it worked or what was possible. I was someone who wasn't passionate about skincare. I had never been a product junkie. I was someone who didn't know how to use a computer. You guys, before Arbonne, I had never been on the internet. I'm not kidding, ever. I had never been on the internet. I didn't even know what that was. I had never owned a business. I wasn't even looking for a business opportunity. I didn't know there was anything else out there for me. But I knew how to work. And I knew that others had done it. So I knew it was possible. And if it was possible, then I knew how to make it work for me. At 47 years of age, I decided to do something completely foreign to me, to literally start my life over from scratch. In the month of my 4-year anniversary with Arbonne, I promoted my 4th direct national vice president. Now you know what's possible. So you need to figure out a way to make Arbonne work for you. You don't need me. You don't need Caroline McFarlane, wherever she is backstage. You don't need Ian or Gordon or any of the other amazing, amazing UK leaders that are blazing the trail for you. You now need to be them. And to do that, all you need is courage. You need the courage to say yes, the courage to be a true risk taker. To me, a true risk taker isn't somebody who puts themselves in harm's way. It's not a skydiver. It's not a bungee jumper. It's somebody who simply says yes when it would have been easier to say no. Give yourself permission every single day to say yes. Give yourself permission every single day to be fearless. You are capable of so much more than you think you are. We are all born with the potential to achieve greatness. Every single one of us, every single one of you sat here today is born with the potential for greatness. You are either walking toward your greatness every single day, or you are walking away from it. And how dare you? How dare you? Walk toward your greatness every day. This is a multi-million-dollar business opportunity in a billion-dollar industry. You will change the lives of thousands of people that you will never even meet. How dare you not walk toward your greatness? How dare you not share this opportunity with others? You can do this. There is strength in you that you haven't even met yet, and it will take you anywhere that you are willing to go. But it is up to you and you alone. Have the courage every day to surprise yourself with what you are capable of. Astound yourself every day with your own abilities, and go get this.